All right. Then let's move on to optimizing the library search. Our library does provide subscription access to a significant amount of electronic content. And if that weren't true, my job would not exist. Obviously, not being in St. Louis, I'm not with the books. And the library does have quite a bit of books for the on-ground crowd, but we have millions more resources online that are good for everybody. So I don't want you to feel nervous that the library can't provide what you need because we are here specifically to serve you as well. Now, from back in yesteryear, you may remember librarians or your professors talking about library databases. We offer about 120 databases um, that focus on many different disciplines, including education. But we also offer something called a discovery layer, a discovery search engine. And within that search engine, almost all of the content from our databases is collected there and it points out to it. So we have a one-stop shop tool that I want to show you how to use well. Instead of you needing to skip from ERIC to education full text to sociology database to another place, because I know we're very intersectional in our disciplines. You can shop in Discovery for your articles and you can find everything you need there. So let's check it out. Our website is our hub of operations. I think of it like a branch of the library. The website for that is maryville.edu/library. I'm putting that in the chat. If you wanted to bookmark it in your browser, I think that would be a great idea. You can also access it from Canvas. If you click on the red toolbar on the side, there's a resources button. If you click on that, there is a link to this website there. And our discovery search engine is this search bar right here. Even if this happened to look different and not have tabs and things, it is still the same search bar. We are planning to make some small adjustments to our website, including this search bar might look a little bit different, but it will function the same. So we're going to stay on full search because we want to see all the kinds of information. And then we are going to use keywords instead of long sentences or full phrases that still get our point across so that the search engine knows what we're talking about. Unlike Google, the search bar is not very good at figuring out what a long sentence means. So instead, you boil your topic down into keywords. So let's say I'm interested in retention of college students who are let's say first time or first generation college students in retention. I would say retention and first generation college students. And even that's kind of a long phrase for me. If I could think of a way to pare that down even more, the search engine would be even happier. Now you'll notice between my key phrases, I have the word and in all capital letters. This is a really useful optimization tool for you. If you put the word and in between your keywords, it tells the search engine I need keyword number 1 and keyword number 2 to be in the results for it to be relevant to me. It's a small thing, but it helps a lot. So I'm going to hit search. And this is the point where most people start looking at articles. But I want to suggest that instead of looking, we're going to use some search filters to make the results a little bit more narrow. Because like I said, the library offers a lot of subscriptions. And there's content here that isn't relevant to you. So I want to make sure we get rid of that before you start looking to make it less overwhelming. So we are starting with 88,000 results, which like I said is too much. Since we just had a chat about different kinds of information and different times to use them, I'm going to point out this filter first. Well, first of all of your search filters are right here beneath the search bar. This source type filter will enable you to narrow the search to only certain kinds of information. So if you only want to see ebooks, there's a checkbox for that. If you only want to see academic journals, there's a checkbox for that. Magazine articles, and you can click more and see even more options like dissertations. I am going to click the academic journals checkbox. Ooh, question from Sarah. Do I need to capitalize and, or is lowercase and okay as well? It depends on where you're searching. So my tactic is to always capitalize. Some places only see the capital letters, and some places will take the lowercase. The search engine will take the lowercase, but continuing to capitalize everywhere will cover you everywhere. Good question. Okay, source type filter. I'm picking academic journals, and that's going to get rid of everything that is not an academic journal resource. Now you'll notice that we also have a peer-reviewed filter. Those are kind of the same thing, but I've noticed that if what you really want is peer-reviewed literature, clicking both will still take some results away. Like we're starting at 34,641. When the peer-reviewed filter kicks in, it took an additional 2,000 off. That is a mystery to me, I have to admit. But if you want academic journals, try both. You can also just go for the peer-reviewed filter. It tends to take more. Additionally, there is a time filter. Sometimes it can be helpful to limit your publication period to some relatively recent time. We have really old material in here as well as really new material. The oldest thing that I've ever seen was from the 1700s, which I'm sure is fascinating, but it's not what I'm talking about for today. So if I wanted to, I could limit to only the past 5 years here, and I would see fewer results and also more recent results. It's important to remember that research evolves over time. So something that someone studied in 1990 may have been studied again several times over since then. And it's important to see all those updates instead of just sticking to whatever they found out in 1990, because it could have changed. So limiting to the past 5 years made our results pool even smaller. I also want to point out the full text filter, although I don't necessarily want you to use it because there are resources listed here that we have direct subscription access to. You'll be able to click a link and go read it. But there are also things here that we don't have subscription access to, but that we can borrow from another library. I think some of you are already using Interlibrary Loan, which is great. I want to encourage that. So if you use the full text filter, you will eliminate all of those interlibrary loan options, which if it's 2 a.m. and you have a discussion board due in a few hours and it's the wee hours of the morning, that is a good option for you to use the full text filter. But if you're working ahead, which you guys are, and you have a scaffolded assignment, which you do, this dissertation, you're going to find pieces at a time. Please use interlibrary loan. The power of many libraries is stronger than the power of one library, and we do collaborate with libraries all over the world. So if you were to use an interlibrary loan article like this one, so I clicked access options and it says request through interlibrary loan, it will pull up a form. It will mostly fill that out for you. If you would please check the ISSN field and make sure that it has something in it. That is this field right here. That is honestly the most important piece of the puzzle for interlibrary loan. And if this field is filled out, it also means that there is a shot that your request will be automated and come back to you even sooner. So if you could check that one for me, and also your name and email, just to make sure that's correct. And then hit submit request. That comes to us, and we will process it. We'll tweak your submission if needed, just to make sure we get matches from other libraries. And then hopefully you'll be able to get your resource within 1 to 2 business days. I do say business days because most libraries kind of shut down interlibrary loan over the weekends. So that's a good thing to know. I'll also say this is a digital article service only. So if you want a print book, what I would come back with in your interlibrary loan request is a link to where you could find that publicly in your geographic area. So that's a little bit about interlibrary loan. So if we wanted to eliminate those results, we can use the full text filter. And if we want to keep those, we leave the full text filter alone. Now, there is also an all filters button. I want to click on that because there's more to play with here. The filter that I like the best is the subject filter. This is an incredibly powerful tool. It's also incredibly difficult to explain. So I want you to think of this like hashtags on social media. If you see a post on Instagram or Facebook or wherever that has a hashtag, and you click that hashtag, you'll see a list of posts that also use the same hashtag. Well, in our search engine, all of these resources have subject tags. And when we use the subject filter, we're searching for only resources that have that tag. So there are a few different ways that you can use this. I could repeat one of my keywords and try to find a subject tag that has that subject in it. Or I could go for something unrelated to my keywords, but that's still an aspect of the research question. In my case, I think I'm going to go for college students. You can also make multiple choices here, like I can say undergraduates as well. Hit apply, and then it will get rid of all of the results that don't have those tags. And this is one of the fastest ways to get your search from thousands and thousands to just a few. And yet we still have 1,800, but that seems more manageable than the 80,000 that we started with. So my optimization tips so far have been use keywords, use the and in between your keywords to help the search engine out, and then use your search filters. Figure out what kind of information you want, whether that's academic journals or news or trade publications. Pick that from the source filter menu. Apply your other filters, play with the subject filter. It can be very fun. And then we can start shopping. I'm going to take a pause real quick and ask if you guys have any questions or if there's anything you want me to repeat or show again.
Can you please show again about the all filters? I missed which button I should click at the right corner, upper corner?
Yes, so right here where it says all filters underneath the search bar, that pops that extra menu out, and there's a lot to look at here. So all of these at the top are our active filters. So let's say I clicked the peer-reviewed filter, but I didn't mean to. I could click the X button here and get rid of it, or the time filter, I could get rid of that. And if we scroll down, then we'll see all these other additional filters that we can play with. The subject filter is a little bit in the middle. And just to see more options, you can click the arrow and it will show you more information that you can use to filter. One of the filters that I get a lot of questions about is this geography filter because people might want to do something place-based. There are pros and cons to that. Most articles do not have a geography tag. And if it doesn't have a tag, it will disappear if you choose a geography filter that is not attributed to the resource. So I may be interested in United States, But notice there's also Midwest US, Texas, California. If I click, there are going to be more states that are listed. It might say Southeast, Kentucky, Southern states. There are a lot of options here. And then there are going to be hundreds that don't have a tag at all. So the only time that I would use a geography filter are if I have way too many results or if I genuinely only want to know about China, or I only want to know about England. Um, those are, that's my best advice for that one. I do get a lot of questions about that, so I thought it might be worthwhile to go ahead and tell you up front. Did that help, friend?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Amber,
Yes.
what what recommendations do you have? I see you have the 5 years time stamp on there. What recommendations do you have for someone who selected a topic that the research is there, the literature is there, but it's older than 5 years? So what would you recommend for that person? Maybe change their keywords, or what suggestions do you have?
Any research process is a treasure hunt. So for some people, it may be that this was a hot topic 10 years ago, and then there hasn't really been a lot of conversation since. For that person, it might be a little bit more flexible. If we're really not seeing any conversation happening for a decade, then number one, it sounds like it might be worthwhile to revisit. So I wouldn't necessarily ask that person to think about changing their topic. But yeah, adjusting the keywords, thinking outside the box too about different aspects of the research question can be very helpful. One thing that I see people struggle with, and I'm sure you do too, Dr. Graham, is they look for a really, really specific article. Like it has to check every single box. And that's not necessarily the case. I refer to those as holy grail articles. It's a massive hunt to find something like that, and a lot of people never do. But that shouldn't be something that discourages you. It should just make you feel like maybe you're saying something really original. But it also means you have to get creative and find articles that speak to a portion of your question. And then this article might speak to another portion of your question. And then it's your job to synthesize those together and make and draw larger conclusions. So yeah, you're welcome. I hope that that helps. I do see a lot of people get discouraged when, oh, the perfect article existed in 1986. What do I do? And that it's not necessarily not part of your recipe, but other things are going to have to take precedent. And like I said, if you want to adjust that time filter, you adjust it. You adjust the dates however you need to. And just play. It is such a treasure hunt, and trying different combinations of things will yield different results. So, accessing articles. There is an access options button below the bibliographic information. You may see interlibrary loan as an option. You may see something that says view full text. That will link you out to another website or another database. And you may see options here that say PDF, access now, and that will pull the article up right in this interface. If I were you, I would save articles by clicking the title and then copying the URL from the browser bar into a document that I kept separately. You may be using something like a synthesis matrix or a spreadsheet to help you keep track of things. That is an excellent link that you can pop into your spreadsheet to help you manage and organize. There used to be a thing called permalinks that we would have to find, but those are no more. You can just use the URL like everybody wants to do. Additionally, I would suggest that before you get invested in an article, click on the title and then scroll until you see an abstract or a description or some kind of summary. Usually on these pages, you'll find a summary of the article, and you can save yourself a lot of time by just reading the abstract and figuring out whether or not it speaks to your question or not. So I hate to see people read a 25-page article only to realize at the end it really didn't fit after all. So abstract will save you some time in that way.
I would like to ask, what will you recommend to use the more like this option? The more like this button?
Well, the more like this button.
Mhm.
That's a new tool for me. It's also a new tool for the search engine. So the more like this button is useful if you see a title and a description that really stand out to you. If you click that, it will pop out of the side and give you recommendations based on the article metadata to see if there are more articles like that one that might also be relevant to you. This being a new tool, sometimes it gets it very wrong. So be patient with it. Do try it out, but don't have very high expectations that it will work well. And do give it the, was this helpful feedback that will help it train to do better. But also, if you're looking for more articles like the articles that you like, then you can raid their references section. So go to the very bottom of the article that you thought was perfect and see what articles they cited in their work, and then look them up here. You can put the full title of an article here, and the search engine does pretty well at finding those. So if you see something in a reference section that stands out to you, come look for it.
Thank
Good
you.
question. I forget about that tool, Sarah, because it is so new. But yeah, that is an option here as well. Another thing that is kind of new looking in this space is this little chat bubble down here at the bottom right. If you click on that, it will bring up a help chat. We do offer 24/7 librarian help through this chat service, and they are really excellent. I've been really impressed with the help that they've been able to give people. So if you are in the middle of your research process and you feel frustrated and you need help, click that little chat bubble, and then a real human person on the other end of this chat will be able to help you. You can also access that chat, by the way, from our homepage. There's a tab that sticks out, and if you click that, it will also open the same chat service. Those are the basics of navigating the library. Do we have any questions about that?
I visited the library and the library in the school. They said when we search the keywords for the subject or articles, we can, he recommended the symbol, I mean, what's this name? Like somebody say something, we
Quotation
call,
marks.
yeah, quotation mark, yeah. Can you
Yeah, that's
explain about?
another tool. Absolutely. I'm so happy to talk about that. So quotation marks, just like the and, they're another kind of special language that we can use with the search engine to help it out. When we put quotation marks around a phrase, what we're telling the search engine is that I need all of these words in this exact order to appear in the search results for it to be relevant to me. So I said first generation college students, and it was looking at that in a lot of different, it could puzzle piece that together in a lot of ways. But by adding the quotation marks, let's see what it does to our search results. It may take some of our filters away. This may actually bite me. But it didn't. It cut our results in half. So the quotation marks are a very, very good tool to use as well. Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, thanks for explanation.
Any other questions before we move on to some special tools?